I get it at your Rocco, but then it's an excuse to buy more coffee every day.
So maybe everybody just have free copies.
I wonder if that's it. Yeah.
No, I was like, when did they take you?
You should get a free copy if you're on the cover. Come on.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, have all the board members had a chance to review the agenda?
I would like to make a motion to make an amendment to the agenda.
Go ahead.
Go ahead and finish.
Yeah,
On the topic of bullying.
okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay, we'll make item 5.05 be a discussion on bullying. Are there any other additions or changes to the agenda? Oh, we will change the order somewhat for 5.04. We'll let the kids go after the superintendent's report. Anything else?
I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have an agenda. Item number 3, superintendent's report. Mr. Jesse.
Thank you, Board President Wheelander, other board directors, our student representatives. We have staff and students and family members as well, and community members. So thank you so much for coming this evening. My first comment will start off, last week I was out in the schools. We hosted a number of professional development sessions, specifically where teachers get to go see other teachers teach. So we've been working very hard on our literacy program and also student engagement. So it was a great opportunity for teachers from different schools to come see other teachers teach. Lots of exchange of ideas and planning back in their classroom. The classrooms I was in, outstanding job of really strong engagement. Teachers are taking a lot of time to plan for their students, getting ready for the word work games that we've been working on for our students. They're really enjoying them, whether that's letter sounds, suffixes and affixes, as well as vocabulary, both academic and content. That's part of our Inspire, Challenge, and Empower. The kids were really excited about their reading and writing, and so it was really neat, and I just want to give a special recognition. I know some of those teachers are actually in the crowd. Just really amazing instruction by our teachers and amazing work by our students as well, again, around reading and writing. So thank you so much. Very powerful. Make a comment, like just around budget. Continue to wrestle with the increase in cost. Just like many folks in the crowd, there are increases in your water, sewer, power bills, and fuel. We experience the same things here in the district. So we are tightening our belts just in plan of some of those budgets that we have. Continue to monitor our expenses because the revenues that come in do not always necessarily match what was budgeted for us by the Washington State School of Education and or by the state legislation. So continue to adjust, make those trims where we have to or need to. Ultimately, I know many of our students and their families do depend on a lot of those services. whether that's food, transportation, obviously support around their mental health and wellness, and of course, awesome instruction and supports as needed. Last, I would love to end. This morning I was over at Olympic Middle School. It was really wonderful inside a classroom. Got to be able to see a really nice note from a student where she was starting her day. They were doing what we call just quick jots to start their day. They were powerful, motivating messages for others, and she wrote, "Mr. Jesse, I hope you love this card more than what others see." So kind of a cute little way to start the day off as they were giving compliments to one another, and just a chance to be in there, again, back over at Olympic Middle School. So that's it for my comments. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And then we're going to go ahead and skip on down to item number 5.04 for the Mountain View Elementary student performance.
Chairman Welander, Board of Directors, student representatives, and Superintendent Jesse. Good evening. Thanks for coming to Mountain View. We're going to have our student choir, and Miss Lauren Hayes is going to be coming in here in just a second. But I want to introduce Lauren just a little bit. She's Mountain View's music teacher and choir director. She does amazing things as part of our specialist team. These students work very hard for choir, including getting up early in the morning to practice. And last week they did a wonderful job at our Veterans Day Assembly, really did a nice job. And so when we had an opportunity to have some students come to perform for you tonight, it seemed like the perfect group. So Ms. Hayes is very excited. These kids not only perform at our school, but also some community events as well. So I'm hoping that Ms. Hayes will talk to you a little bit about those things. So I'll allow Ms. Hayes to do the rest. She's much more interesting than I am. But I also want to thank all of the Mountain View parents that brought your kids tonight. I know you're very busy, so thank you very much for bringing the kids. And once they're done, I believe it'll be okay for them to leave, if that's all right. So, okay, Miss Hayes and the choir's coming in. Thank you very much again.
This is my 6th year here in Shelton. Our group is made up of 3rd and 4th grade students who give up their Tuesday and Thursday mornings from 7:45 a.m. to 8:30 to sing together and grow in their musicianship, their skills. On Friday, we performed at our Veterans Day Assembly, And we were so excited to share with you our hard work and hope that it moves you and makes you think about the sacrifice that our veterans have made. The song that we're going to be singing today is American Tears by Teresa Jennings. we leave, there on your, in your spot, there is a bookmark. And on there is a list of the performance times for Mountain View, for our choir, but also for our first graders. And so we'd like to just invite you to come join us. If you even want to come chaperone and walk with us to our walking field trips, that would be wonderful too. But thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the performance. That was absolutely great. For information, all of you folks out there in TV land, if you want to see these guys, December 6th, 6 p.m., Shelton Post Office for the Christmas tree lighting. And the first graders will be here for the musical Flakes on December 12th, 6:45, right here at the Mountain View Gym. And I've just been told this will be posted on our website somewhere. We'll give it just a second for the folks that are leaving to leave. Okay, we'll move on to community comments. As part of the regular school board meeting, the board welcomes community members to make public comments in person or by phone as conditions allow. Please see the full script with call-in instructions and guidelines for community comments displayed on the screen. It's coming. There's the time. Well, we got two names on here. Marilyn Aaron. Could we get the mic?
Difficulties. There we are. Okay, my name is Marilyn Aaron. So I'm here to address some serious community concerns regarding recent financial decisions and their impact on our district. In June, the board approved a 6% raise for our superintendent. Just 2 months later, we learned that the district faces a $2.7 million deficit this school year, a deficit that should have been foreseeable when the raise was discussed. Despite this financial strain, the superintendent advocated for his own increase, and now, in an effort to close this budget gap, the district is considering a reduction in force of 15 teaching positions. These decisions raise fundamental questions about resource allocation and prioritization. In the district's June 20th budget presentation, there was a projection for the fiscal year 2024-25 that included reductions totaling just under $2.89 million. Saving and excluding the 6 full-time certificated teaching positions that were on that list, which would have put the district's budgeted reductions at approximately $2.16 million. What happened to these planned reductions? And why, despite these projections, are we now seeing a tentative plan to cut an additional 15 teaching positions? This shift in strategy suggests a lack of alignment with previous planning, and it raises concerns about whether budget priorities are being managed in a way that best supports students and classrooms. The district's budget presentation shows a decrease of only 20 students, which does not account for a $2 million deficit. We understand that costs have risen in areas like substitutes, food, and utilities, but these are foreseeable expenses. The district should have been prepared for these changes rather than turning to principals, teachers, and staff to make up for the poor planning. How do we expect student achievement to increase when we're looking to cut vital instructional positions? With fewer teachers, class sizes will increase, making it harder to provide the individualized support that students need to meet or exceed standards. Communities expect their leaders to prioritize educational quality and fiscal responsibility, especially when decisions directly impact students' learning experiences. These cuts don't just affect our schools, they impact the entire Mason County community, including local businesses. Reducing teaching positions while increasing executive compensation raises serious concerns. How does the district justify executive raises while considering cuts that affect teachers and classrooms? How does leadership plan to maintain trust and morale among teachers who are being asked to sacrifice while the superintendent's salary grows? Could the funds for this raise have been redirected to support teachers or educational resources instead? When a superintendent advocates for a raise despite a looming deficit, it gives the impression that leadership is disconnected from the financial realities facing our schools. As stakeholders, we should push for a plan that aligns budget priorities with student support, ensuring that the district can sustain academic growth even in challenging times. We need assurances that leadership will prioritize classroom resources and support, balancing any future executive raises against the needs of our teachers and our students. We have to come together as a community to be a voice for our teachers and staff, because they're voiceless. They are unable to speak up. They're afraid of repercussions. We'll be emailing you additional information, as I have about 11 pages of it, and 3 minutes just doesn't hack it. But thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Dean Jewett.
Dean Jewett, lifelong Shelton resident. Pretty hard to follow what Marilyn had to say, because everything that she said is, you already know it. So if you already know it, and you still make the same decisions, it's kind of baffling. Wyeth Jesse's got multiple pay increases. Is that what is best for kids? That's how you need to look at this. Every decision that you guys make sitting up there in those chairs need to be what's best for kids. And if it's not best for kids, and if it's only best for Wyeth or other administration sitting down at the district office, again, that's not what is best for kids. So if you're going to riff 15 teachers, how about we riff 3 administration positions? How about we reduce some administration costs? It's hard for me to gather and understand how that we could even do that. There was an article in the paper. So you're going to borrow more money from the county to the tune of $58,000 in additional interest. Great for Mason County, but is that what's best for taxpayers? I mean, taxpayers fund the schools in part, right? So that's just more that we have to pay because apparently Wyeth in his infinite wisdom can't figure out a budget. So we have parents and community members that are buying supplies for the schools because the school is on a spending freeze. So you can't even pay your own bills. You're behind on water bills, power bills. How long has the elevator been out at the junior high school? How does that align with ADA? You can't pay the bill to the elevator company to get them to come in and fix it. And if I'm not mistaken, the library is on the 2nd floor. So if there's a child that can't get on the 2nd floor to get to the library, do you bring the library to them? We got 2 pay raises. Wyeth gets a stipend for fuel, and I believe that he drives an electric vehicle. I've heard some rumors that there's a charging station going in. Is that in the budget? I don't know if that's a rumor or not. You know how rumors go. He's in his watchful eye. There's multiple lawsuits. Maybe that's an increase in the budget because of the insurance. Shelton School District is operating on a 1% surplus. Isn't the average about 5 to 10%? So you guys have some of your positions and some of your thought processes are all a little bit mixed up. Keep in mind what's best for kids. I don't think Wyeth knows that, but thank you.
Okay, for reports and recognitions. 5.01, the report from the student board representatives, and we will start with Alan Ramirez.
I actually have quite a bit to report from Cedar High School. The first thing is that today we actually had an MTSS meeting, of which I, as well as another student, have been participating in for a while now. So I think it's really nice that not only do our students get to involve themselves with the community through projects, but we also get to get involved directly with how our school system works. At least in our individual school, we get to deal with how we resolve issues, what we want our community to be like, and more on that. On the 25th of November, we're going to have our ECP, our Experience Year project, so I'd like to invite you all to come and check out the projects that our students have been working really hard on. And speaking of projects, we do have quite a few promising ones. I know at least for my English class, we're working with several different news writers to write our very own news stories. And we're also planning ahead for our Cedar Culture Days, which are days where it's at the beginning of each trimester, and it's a really nice opportunity for students to sort of get back into the groove of being at school. And we have continued to have very individualized support for students throughout the entire first trimester.
Very good. Next is Kaylee Allen from Choice.
Opposed to Alan, I do not have much to talk about today. Although what I can say is that for in our science class, we have a gardening thing we do for our horticulture, and we've just finished painting our shed, our school colors, purple, and then we've also finished laying gravel, and we're soon going to be laying wood chips, and hopefully we can start planting and harvest by the spring, whatever grows. And then we also have, we've been practicing our stewardship in our other science class, where we go up to Teresa Johnson Trail and we just clean it up a bit, all the students help out. And I think it'll be really beneficial for the students as well as the trail for those who like to walk on it.
Thank you, and thank you guys for cleaning up those trails. That helps. Okay, 5.02, the Oakland Bay Junior High School Improvement Plan with Marianne Marshall.
Good evening, Board President Wiehlander, fellow directors of the board. I'm here tonight to share with you the school improvement plan for Oakland Bay Junior High School that, in addition, supports our strategic plan here in the Shelton School District. All right, our first goal is centered around ELA with an increase of 5%. We are trying to get 105 of our students to pass the SBAC for this school year. We are targeting all of our students, but our focus is really getting 105 across the line this school year. So our strategies for this school year, we have going on inside of our ELA classrooms around just finding a just right book for students. So we're continuing that strategy along with building students' stamina for reading, engaging with different genre, and teaching students how to talk about what they're reading with fellow students inside of the classroom. This year, we're taking support for ELA outside of the ELA classrooms and moving them into all classrooms, where teachers are implementing the claim, evidence, and reasoning framework to help students in their writing skills. And also, teachers in all classrooms are teaching explicit instruction on text features. This helps to support comprehension and critical thinking skills. All right, our systems and structures to help support this goal really are focused on analyzing our data and collaboratively working together as a team to move this goal forward. So we have our ELA teams looking at their formative and summative assessments, also classroom work. They're also working in teams continually to help move this goal forward. And then this year, all of our content areas are supporting ELA. And you'll see that on the picture slide, where at our staff meetings for every unit, like social studies, our electives are working with our ELA teachers to say, what can we do inside of our classroom to help support you as ELA teachers and students inside of the classroom? And again, it comes back to just collaboration and continually looking at our data to inform our moves. So like I shared up here on the upper left-hand part of our screen, that's just an anchor chart from one of our staff meetings where the elective team came together along with our other content area and came up with things that they could do to support. They also, our content areas will connect regularly, at least once a month, with our ELA teachers, where they take like the last 5 or 10 minutes to come in and just do quick checks of, this is what we're doing in our elective class, or this is what we're doing in social study. Is there anything that you need us to do or make shifts in when it comes to the strategies that we use? Students are setting goals, right? So we're building that reading stamina by how many pages are you reading? How many books are you reading? And we're celebrating that with our 3R tickets, and that's a picture of students using their 3R tickets at our student store that's open up twice a week at the Bay. And then again, just pictures of collaboration and some examples of the strategies that we're using inside of the classroom. Our next goal is centered around attendance. You know, we would like to see the average drop from 27 days missed for students to 15, and then continue to work on that through the years. So it's important that we engage with our students, right? We know their story, strengths, and needs, that we're welcoming them into the school and into classrooms every day. Our students are engaged in all of our classrooms in our Do Now activities. These are just quick things for them to start getting their brain going when they enter into class. Students, why are they learning what they are learning? How is it connected to them as humans, as well as relevance out into the real world? That's important for our students. They want to know that. And again, going back to goal setting, students need to know what is their goal, where they're at, celebrating that success, and continually looking at that goal as they move through their work. Systems and structures around attendance, again, knowing students' story, strength, and need, engaging with them, having conversations with them, celebrating their successes. We recently, every month we have bingo. That's a huge success. We had over 105 seventh graders at bingo for attendance, and just the same amount for our 8th grade as well. So students are coming to school, they're getting there on time, and we're celebrating that and recognizing it. So this is just a collage just of our bingo, and it's also important that students see themselves in our building. So if you come at OBJH, we have all new bulletin boards, and those bulletin boards are led by our 7th grade leadership and our 8th grade leadership students. So where it says we are all connected, that was an activity that all students participated in advisory, where they just shared some things about themselves and had a lesson of how we all are a team and we work together. We have wonderful counselors that support our students through small group and one-on-one counseling. We want our students engaged in sports. We know if they're engaged in sports and clubs, that will make them want to come to school and excited about school. And just giving them opportunities to engage with other students and just silly projects. I think that's it. Happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions? Go ahead with a comment.
Good job on improving your attendance rate. I know that's a challenge for everybody, so thank you.
Go ahead, Alan.
I do have one suggestion for the ELA classes.
Sure.
I know at least at my school at Cedar, there's this one activity that we do. I don't know if you guys do this activity under a different name, but it's called a Socratic seminar. Sort of like, you have like a leading question, and then you just have one circle of students discussing it, and then another group of students on the outside listening in, and then at a certain amount of time you swap. It's just it usually takes like maybe 5 minutes to get the conversation rolling, but it's really interesting to hear what students will discuss if you just like give them time and space to be able to express their ideas about a certain topic. Usually it's about either a book or a certain time in history.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. I always really enjoy these presentations and all of the pictures, and again, everybody's school improvement plans this year have had very, smart goals, and that they're measurable, specific. And I also liked how your students are setting goals. It's, those key small skills early on lead to big success later, and I really appreciate how you've added that aspect to this presentation, so thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much for the report. The few things that I wrote down, I love all of the student engagement. I think especially at that age, it's so important to keep their attention and get them engaged and engaged in the school and the whole environment. So I loved the student-led activities and the celebrations that are, like you said, helping kids want to be there. The clubs and the sports, it seems like that definitely has really grown as far as the kids' involvement at OBGH. So I think that that's wonderful as far as keeping kids in positive things in the school environment. So thank you for your report and for all of that.
I appreciate the goals that you have set. I think they're valuable and realistic. Otherwise, I thought it was a great presentation. Thank you very much. I do recommend some mint tea for your throat.
Any other questions?
That's it.
All right, thank you so much.
Next up, we've got the school improvement plan for Olympic Middle School. Mary Johnson.
Well, first off, after listening to Marianne present tonight, one of the things I am most excited about is the work that Olympic Middle School and the Bay are doing together to align our practices. It's really difficult when you have students for 2 years. You just get them going and they move on. So we're working really hard to make sure that we are providing similar expectations so that it's not such a big shift for our students. So it's been fun working with you, Marianne. All right. Well, thank you, Board Chair Wiehlander and our fellow board members and Superintendent Jesse, to be able to share. Most of you that know me know I can talk forever, so it's super hard for me to tell you all the amazing things that our staff and students are doing in such a short period of time. Our first goal is around 6th grade ELA growth. Last year, our 6th graders scored 31.3%, and this year we're searching for a growth to 34%. And while that might not seem very well, we looked at the 5th graders that are coming into 6th grade. The baseline last year was 24%. So it's a 10% goal. It's pretty lofty, but we have 78 students who we have identified as being students that we consider bubble kids, and in almost every classroom, every student growth goal that our teachers are writing, we have targeted these 78 students, and we're doing everything we can to help identify maybe where they're struggling and to try to get them up and over the line to solid threes passing the SBA. We've narrowed our strategies down. We're into year 3 now, and while we're in year 3 at Olympic Middle School, 8 of our 12 ELA teachers are new. And, but you know, you can't go back, so we've just triple timed it. I know you got this, and we're gonna move forward with making sure that everybody's ready to do the work. We focused this year on making sure that all of our students receive 30 minutes of word work. We call that Academy, and we built our schedule a very particular way to pull Academy out of lunches or other times of the day so that we could maximize the amount of staff we had available. 6th grade Academy is first thing in the morning, and 5th is at the end of the day. So in addition to the 12 teachers we have at each grade level, so that's right, our math and our science teachers, everybody's teaching word work. We also have special education, multilingual teachers, as well as paraeducators. So we've been able to add an additional 8 to 10 adults into those groups to be able to make sure that we can really target the specific skills and needs our students have. Last year we used 2 different programs when we did Academy. We used Words Their Way, and we also used a System 44. And we really found that the most growth our students made were those students that received Words Their Way. One of the really wonderful things about Words Their Way is it takes it as low as alphabetical principle. So for students who are really just learning the English language, right up to students in high school who might be working with morphemes and multisyllabic words. And so we're really excited. There's something for everybody. We have students that are advanced at both 5th and 6th grade, and our high-cap teachers are teaching those classes for Academy. The second strategy that we decided to focus on this year is conferring. So our teachers have dabbled in conferring. They've done an amazing job. This year we've adopted a protocol that we're using. So where the teachers are researching, what are the students reading? Why do they select certain books? What genres are they sticking into? They're listening to students read, and they're providing compliments, everything from the way the student's reading to the ability to answer questions, or maybe the growth that a student made from their last conferring session where they set a goal. There's always a teaching point. Some of our teachers are able to bring some of the Academy work into their conferring session if they have a student who's really working on maybe like long vowel sounds, and can just put that right into their conferring session. And then an application, so they send them back with some sort of skill to do, whether that's jotting, whether that's reading, back in their independent reading book. And then there's always a goal setting. So, and the student is involved in that goal setting to make sure that they have voice and choice in what they're doing. Some of the systems and structures that we have in place, we're really excited. Our PLCs are always content focused, so our math teachers, our science teachers, and our ELA teachers have that time to work together. We also have 2 ELA meetings after school, twice a month for 30 minutes. We were able to provide that training through our OSSI grant. As well, we used funds from our OSSI grant to provide 6 half-day release days for our ELA teachers. Last year, we were able to go to Seattle and see Aki Middle School and the work that they were doing in trying to make sure that their teachers had ample time to collaborate and plan together. And so we were able to, we started this last year, and we were able to move it into this year. Next week, our 5th grade teachers and 6th grade teachers will each have half-day release days where they will be digging into Unit 3, which is prepared to release next week. Oh, am I supposed to do this? Oh, look at that. All right. Here's some examples of some of the things that you'll see. These 4 pictures over here on the left side, they're a little bit about Words Their Way. Probably not a lot of you have seen this program before. The students, we've written it for a 3, 4, or a 5-day program, so students are working with lists of words that follow a specific pattern. Might be a vowel pattern, could be a ending to a word, could be a root word. And they're learning to go through those words, sort them into like ways. And then there's a lot of activities they do throughout the week. So you'll see a sample of a student here that wrote sentences. The student happened to write paragraphs, including those words. So there's always some direct instruction, and then there's the ability to apply that. You'll see some conferring down the side here, and we're super excited. If you'll note the two teachers, there happen to be Ken and Barbie. So even on Halloween, we do reading instruction. So this is just some conferring that they're doing with, those are two sixth grade teachers, actually two first-year sixth grade teachers conferring with students. They're averaging about 3 students a block, which is pretty exciting for them. A couple examples of some whole group teaching, and then I'm really proud of the work right there in the middle. Last year, our teachers, we asked our science and math teachers to just really try a mini lesson and to think, if that's what developmentally is appropriate for students, then it shouldn't just happen in reading, it should happen in all subjects. And so this year they took off. They all asked for carpets, they're pulling kids to the floor, they're doing whole group, they're doing independent work time. It's pretty exciting to watch. And these 2 anchor charts that you see up here, the first one is Power of Energy. That's a 6th grade. Mrs. Underwood teaches 6th grade science. So if you went into her room, you would see anchor charts all over the room. And the next one is it's a 5th grade math, and it's adding fractions, and it has the steps. So the students are going through just like they do in ELA, and they're creating anchor charts, and then those are up there for the students to resource as they're working through their problems. Our second goal has to do with school discipline. We worked super hard on this last year. And so while it may not seem a lot to go from 39 to 36 reportable exclusions or expulsions in a year, that was huge for Olympic Middle School last year. So some of the things that we've done, when we came on board last year, we had 33% of our staff were new. 2 new administrators, new counselor, a new secretary, and 11 new teachers. And it didn't take us long to realize that we needed to really spend some time as a staff talking about our beliefs and our agreements. Things were going great. It had nothing to do with what was already going on there. It just had to do with you have to understand it, you have to believe, and you have to agree. So we did a lot of work last year, and as we rolled into this year with 8 additional new teachers, we included them in that process. So the things that are going on in our classroom is all of our teams are working with common expectations and common structures and routines. So a team of 4 teachers, which is 2 ELA, a math and a science, they created common expectations. So it doesn't matter whether you're in math or science or ELA. If you're going to gather materials, you gather materials the exact same way. If you're going to transition, it doesn't matter which class you're in, you're going to transition the same way. And those structures and routines are aligned with our building structure and routines. We talked a lot about teachable moments and giving our teachers some strategies and really working on discipline and what is a moment that you might want to use to teach versus a time when you might want to give a consequence. So really listening to our teachers, talking about the kinds of things that we were really struggling with, and just working together to refine those. And then we also provide, we built into our master schedule along with Academy, we also built an SEL time. So there's 30 minutes in every block, every schedule where they do social emotional learning. So we have Second Steps curriculum, and they teach a Second Steps lesson twice a week, and then twice a week they do class meetings. Sometimes those class meetings are developed from our school counselors and Mike and myself because they're things that we're seeing creeping up. Sometimes they're things the classroom teachers decide to do because they're things that they're seeing in the classroom. And then one day a week they get to go to library, which is super exciting. So this first page really talks a lot about our systems and structures. So when I said we made big changes, we made really big changes. Previous to this year, our motto for our building was be kind, be safe, work hard. And this year over the summer, a group of us worked together and we created it to say SOAR. So Eagles soar, the S stands for safe, the O, I'm so sorry. The O stands for being open. The A stands for being authentic, and the R stands for being reliable. We had a lot of feedback. So you'll see our Olympic Middle School, this is one of several matrices that we have that talk about our expectations in the common areas that go with SOAR. Down below it, you'll see just one example of the bathroom slide. So we reteach. We taught at the beginning of the year. We retaught after conference week. We're going to reteach after Thanksgiving and Christmas and any time we see a need. So this is just one slide that the teachers would use kind of as a point of reference so that we're all teaching the same expectations. In the very middle where you see Eagle expectations, that's the example of one team, that's Team Noble. They're a 5th grade team, and that is their expectations. And the first 3 columns have to do with how kids are going to get materials, how they're going to do a do now task, and how they're going to enter the classroom. Just a lot of examples. We still do our Eagle tickets. Kids can use them at the student store. You'll see that cylinder. We're filling that up. When I left today, there's about this much left. And there will be a all-school celebration. Teachers are also using Eagle tickets in their classrooms. And I think one of the things we're super proud of is if you look at the bottom chart, you will see the green was our discipline last year. That's the average number of referrals that we had at Olympic Middle School last year, and the blue is this year. So our teachers and all of our staff have worked so hard, and that work is because of them. This has more to do with our SEL and some of our culture work that we're doing. So there's just a couple slides of our staff. They were just so dedicated and hardworking. Over here under social emotional learning, you'll see our 6th grade counselor, Grace Reneker. She went in and she does some team teaching with classrooms. So in this one, she's team teaching with 2 6th grade teachers. Down in the bottom right-hand corner is Lauren Underwood, 6th grade teacher. She's teaching a 2nd step lesson on bullying. We have a class meeting going on in the bottom. So the month of October is National Bullying Prevention Month. We were planning, last year we were able to purchase the bullying curriculum for 2nd steps. So we spent a lot of time looking through it, deciding how we wanted it to roll out. Right before we decided to roll it out, we were noticing that there was an uptick in some unkind language happening in our building. So we decided to hold off a week, and we spent a week, and our 2 counselors and Mike and I worked together to create some class meetings around humanizing the classroom. And so the classroom spent time talking about how they were alike, way more than how they're different. And we just saw some real unique opportunities for students to connect. And then we rolled in, we just finished up our 4th week of the bullying curriculum. You'll see this classroom. The classrooms all had a challenge to create the most amazing door, and this is an example of one of our doors. Hocus pocus, kindness is our focus. And the 6 stages to stop bullying, we saw that there was more need in 6th grade than 5th grade, so Mr. Kraft and Grace got together and created a PowerPoint, and they went around to every single 6th grade classroom and presented an additional bullying curriculum. I think that's probably all I have presented for today. Oh, that's not true. Wait, there's more. So I don't know how many of you know that tomorrow is World Kindness Day. Right before, when we started to kick off our bullying unit, Grace Reneker worked with Melanie Bacala. She is a local businesswoman with State Farm, and she purchased bracelets for all of us that say, "I am kind." So we gave them to all of our students, and tomorrow is World Kindness Day, and they will be wearing them along with orange, and we are asking you to join in World Kindness Day tomorrow. All right. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Questions or comments?
I just want to say it sounds like your team has done a lot of work to collaborate, to provide that consistency, and I guess I just want to extend my gratitude. That has a cost, that has time, that has effort, in some sense probably relearning how we do things. And so you can see that work. The referrals being down that drastically, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
I like how you're collaborating with Oakland Bay Junior High for a smooth transition, complimenting kids while they're reading, which is a great encouragement, right, as opposed to criticizing, and proactive on bullying. Kudos.
Thank you.
After hearing both presentations, and Mary Ann, this applies to you also, you both have just hit the ground running and really made incredible strides in your schools, and just these middle years were a sticky point in our school district, and I am just really excited again to hear next year what you will have accomplished, because it's going to show in our high school. It's the things that you're focused on, discipline and referrals and bullying, those are the things that we're hearing from our parents, and I just thank you. You have, I'm sure, all of our gratitude on the school board.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll jump in with some comments too. I think that, you know, one of the things that you said right off the bat, just the work that you and Mary Ann are doing together. Not everybody does that. Thank you both for jumping in and working well with each other, because when you work together well like that, the whole school district benefits. I mean, it has been a challenge. We are bound by the buildings that we have in this school district. We can't just say now all of a sudden we're going to have a 4-year, you know, or have elementary school go up to 6th grade and have a 7th and 8th, and the way that it was when I was in, you know, younger. You had longer time in elementary school, and middle school was a couple of years, and then high school was 4 years, and splitting these two in the 2-and-2 school does make for some difficult transitions, and I really appreciate the work that both of you are doing around that, because it makes a big difference. I mean, you're getting very specific, and many of those school improvement plans have said that, but just like you said, you're really honing in on those 78 students and working hard with them, and not that you don't have expectations and work that you're doing with all students, but getting very specific to help support those that are struggling. I loved the acronym for SOAR, the safe, open, authentic, and reliable. I really love that there was work around that, because those are all very important things. And also taking the time, like Becky said, to do the work around bullying. What you said about humanizing everybody in the classroom and that we're more alike than different, I think we can all learn that lesson. We all need to humanize each other. And that is so important to do that at that age and really get them to see that there's a lot we have in common. It's not these differences that make us some kind of enemy. So really appreciate that, and thank you for the bracelet. It means a lot.
Thank you.
So I go last most of the time, and normally everybody takes everything that I'm going to say. But I had the opportunity today to go to OMS and lurk about with the superintendent and Mary. And we walked into a couple of classes. If you ever want to find out how people are really doing, don't tell them you're coming. And the level of engagement on the kids was amazing. You know, I got there a little early. Everybody that walked through the doors was greeted. There was a smile, a handshake, a hug, whatever. Grab some food, get to class. When the bell rang and it was time for people to be where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're supposed to be doing it, it was crickets in the hallway. There was nothing there, no problems. Everybody was doing what they're supposed to be doing. I was told in both of the classrooms, new teacher, you know, and I would have never known. I mean, these teachers have embraced this stuff, and it is showing. And there's a reading stamina thing. You know, these kids they're already reading a half hour. I wasn't reading a half hour uninterrupted until I was in high school. Says a lot about me. But you're doing amazing things, and thank you so much.
We love it, so thank you guys so much.
Okay. Item number 6, the consent agenda. Oh, 5.05. 5.05, sorry. Bullying. Becky?
So Shelton School District has a policy and administrative procedure in place that covers bullying and consequences in length, I think. It attempts to cover every possible scenario. I mean, sure, maybe something will come up that's not on there. But despite that, we keep getting complaints from community members. Last board meeting, there was another one. Emails. So I think it's the board's duty to try to improve the policies or to see where the disconnect is somewhere. I think we need to do better. We're always talking about a warm and welcoming environment. And if there's kids that are being bullied, then I guess we're not really meeting that. So I don't know how we can resolve it, but I think we need to work on it. Do we need to put more staff working on it? I know it probably could be a full-time job. I'm sure it's pretty complicated, but I think, that we have to try. And also, parents and or community members, when you bring these up, it would help us to know more details, because bullying going on doesn't help us try to resolve the issue, maybe after a board meeting, or maybe contact Wyeth in person, something. If you're saying, my kid's being bullied, well, did you do this, this, and this? And yes, we did. So what's the disconnect? That would really help us. That's all I have.
In the policy and procedure online, there is a bullying complaint form to fill out and turn into the administration. Would remind anybody that you do need to take it to, teacher first, administrator, move up the chain of command there. We do take it extremely seriously, and it's something that, it's not okay to bully somebody else. Do any other board members have any comments, questions about that? Okay. All right. Thank you, Becky, for bringing that up. Item number 6 would be the consent agenda. Are there any questions, comments about that?
Yeah, on the minutes, there was something missed under board member comments. I asked about the revision to policy 3241. My parents were omitted, and that is not in the minutes. And Wyatt said he would have it changed.
Okay.
So typically, Board Director Conquest, those level, those minute, don't always necessarily make the minutes. And so those particular revisions, Dusty Trickle is prepared to announce about those revisions that you had requested in regard.
Revision wasn't made. That's why.
We can,
Okay.
that's coming up. Yep, great.
Any other questions, comments on the consent agenda?
No.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 7, the proposed revised policy number 3241, student discipline, with Dusty Trickle and Wyatt Jesse. And this will be the second reading with a recommendation for approval. Go ahead.
Good evening, Board President Wieslander, other board members, student representatives, and Superintendent Jesse. My name is Dusty Trickle, Director of Student Wellness. I'm back again regarding the approval for the revisions to Policy 3241 regarding student discipline. I was able to make the corrections regarding the wording brought up at the first reading. And as that was the only change requested, is there any other questions or comments regarding this policy?
On my copy, the word parents is still lined out on bullet point number 9.
Okay. I updated it in the original, so maybe it hasn't been
This is what,
distributed yet.
oh, it
Yep.
wasn't, okay.
We put it back in, yep.
We'll get that. I absolutely understand where you're coming from now, Board Director Conquest. We'll put that out. We can put that out tomorrow morning so you can just see that. What will get posted will be the revisions as requested
Okay.
and noted in the notes from last meeting.
Are there any other questions or comments about the policy?
I think in reviewing it, it looked like it was mainly just changes due to the RCWs that were updated. So
Yeah.
I have no other questions. I can move to approve revised policy number 3241 on student discipline.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Moving on to board member comments. Director Dale.
Just really appreciate the updates and the emphasis on collaboration across grade levels and attendance. It's remarkable and notable, the attendance challenge in our community, and so I see that focus. You can't educate somebody who's not there, and so really appreciate being new here, just how much effort's put in there, and the approach to this, not one size fits all, but the effort to get to know the students and their story and what's happening and why that attendance is such a struggle. So just kind of to all of the teachers doing that work and the administrators, really appreciate that.
Director Cronquist.
Well, thank you to Cedar and Choice representatives. Excited to hear about your gardening you're doing. And if we can get the time on your meeting on the 25th. Great job to Oakland Bay in Olympic. What he said about attendance, I know that's a pretty big challenge. And I noticed that most of the schools participated in Veterans Day and various activities. Congratulations to Evergreen Wildcats for receiving the Collaboration Award for October. Sorry. The Music Appreciation Group shared their first performance. They were rebanded. It's a big hit for Cedar and Choice High School. Evergreen had 3 of their classes celebrate perfect attendance. Shelton High had their career expo.
That's tomorrow.
Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay, it's coming up. And today, the Shelton Centennial Lions completed vision and hearing screening at Bordeaux Elementary, and we'll be doing Olympic Middle School tomorrow. Great job to the choir. That was very good. And that's all I have.
Director Gilmore.
I think the only thing we missed is a big thank you to the staff of the choir group who are giving, their time in the morning and the afternoons and all these great events that are coming up. Really appreciate that. It was a very great performance. And pass on.
Director Davidson.
All right, I do want to thank the presentations that we had tonight for the school improvement plans. Those were great. The student choir, that was wonderful, so thank you for putting that on the agenda and having them come perform for us. And it was wonderful to hear what they sang for Veterans Day. I do want to thank all of the veterans and especially those that work for our school district. I know we have a lot of veterans that do work for our school district. Many of us are going to the WASDA conference. That's the Washington School Director Association Conference. That is an annual thing for all 295 school districts in the state of Washington to meet up. Happens to be in Spokane this year, and that is next week. For anybody that's going, if you haven't, they do have the app to download now, and you can select things. You can put in your own schedule, like what you're interested. You don't have to stick to that, but it kind of helps you plan your time while you're there. And I will say that the huge theme this year is school finances. That is something that is offered in every single one of the sessions because every single school district is dealing with financial issues of small or great magnitude. And so that is something that we will be able to get some education on in a lot of different ways and a lot of different perspectives at the WASDA meeting. So I think that that'll be really good. Along with thanking our choir teachers, club directors, sports. I know a lot of high school sports were wrapping up last week, and I happen to have 2 daughters that play volleyball, and it really strikes me every time I hear these coaches talk about how they bond and connect with their teams, and they love giving their time. And I know that that's happening not just for high school volleyball, but for all of the sports and all of the schools that's going on. And I really want to thank all of those people that take their time to have that connection with our kids. And one thing that I also saw that I don't always see advertised was that many of the volleyball girls received the Evergreen Conference. It was like a good grades. You have to have a 3.5 and above, and I believe they give that certificate to anybody who is in any sport. So it'd be interesting just to see how, I think we have a lot of athletes out there that have great grades. But that's it. I'm looking forward to the WASDA conference next week. Outside of that, thank you to both of the student reps for giving us some updates and letting us know what's going on in your schools as well.
I don't have a whole lot to add to any of that. Congratulations to all the athletes out there that are either moving on or been recognized for, all league or better. While I don't normally call folks out by name, I would like to thank Coach Josh Monroe. He brought his shiny head out of the weight room this year and put together a football team for us, and it's truly appreciated more than I could ever demonstrate. Otherwise, I'm going to end the way I end several other meetings. It's just, it's a scary world out there. There's a lot of division on the planet, just for one reason or another, and remind everybody, not just because tomorrow is National Be Nice Day, but be nice. We got about a 20-minute exempt session, and then we're just going to come back and adjourn. So there you are.